Okay, so Zim Stock, is it a buy? Is it a sell? Will they pay a dividend? Will they not pay a dividend? Well, we're about to find out in this video. So, first thing I want to go over is what is Zim Stock? Just a short rundown. Zim Stock is a ocean shipper. Basically, what they do is they ship crates of goods from one country to another country. It is more or less a foundation of society. People can't eat, they can't buy TVs, they can't drink water, they can't get a new smartphone if it's not being developed in another country and shipped to another country, like from the China to the US or from Saudi Arabia to Taiwan or whatever the case. International commerce, right? So Zim, um, in this top 30 rankings here, is ranked at about number 11 with 425,000 metric tons of, I'm assuming, tons of product or tons of crates or whatever. The number one guy, Maersk, is at 4.2 million. So that pretty much gives you a rough estimate of a potential 10x in terms of volume increase from Zim to go to number 11 to the number one shipper. If we take a look at the market cap here of Zim, it's 1.8 billion. And I type in Maersk. Maersk is 212 billion, so you're looking at a potential 150x difference there. There's a lot of upside potential for Zim. For the ex-dividend date of Zim, Zim has had pretty consistent dividend payouts up until this most recent quarter. I do actually expect a dividend payout on the next quarter, and I'm going to go over that in a minute, why I expect that to be the case. They've had some pretty sizable dividend payouts. You got $2, $2.50, $17, $2.85, $4.75, $2.95, and $6.40 with this absolutely astronomical dividend yield. I have not received a dividend from them personally yet, but I intend to in the future. In terms of Zim's overall share price, it has been moving up off of support from about $11 up to roughly 16. I've been getting in and out of this position, taking profit into earnings. As I told you guys before, I make my money one of two ways. I increase my passive income, but I also take gains on these same positions before the ex-dividend date because I want to make twice the money. If we take a look at the earnings calendars, different earnings release dates here, you guys have seen, or you can see, I should say, almost every single earnings quarter that they've been on the publicly listed stock markets, they've had a distribution shortly after. So you can see they have a positive beat here on earnings and revenue. And shortly after that, they paid a dividend. Then again, on earnings, they had a beat on both fronts. And then shortly after that, about a month later, they paid a dividend. And again, March 9th, March 22nd, they paid a dividend. So here's what I'm looking for. There was no payout in the most recent earnings projection that they had. They had a miss on both fronts, so they did not pay a dividend. Zim Shipping pays their dividends based on their overall profits. So they pay, according to the CEO, about 30 to 50% of their profits on a quarterly basis. If they're not making money, they're not going to pay a dividend. If they are making money, then they're going to pay a dividend. And the amount that they pay depends on the amount that they make, whatever that amount is in terms of 30 to 50% percentage points of their overall profit for that quarter. So going into earnings, the expectation is they're expecting a miss on earnings from the looks of it and a beat on revenue. Now, if Zim comes in with a beat on both earnings and revenue, then I am absolutely expecting to pay a dividend. I'm also expecting the share price to go up. The main reason for that is when I move over to the weekly chart, both the technicals and the earnings, assuming it comes out bullish, would support that. Got some bullish divergence here. RSI going up, price going down. You can see the price at the bottom of the support level bounced perfectly off of previous support. Once it breaks this EMA up here, I'm expecting a golden cross, which is where the yellow EMA crosses above the blue one, and then it has a retest. The price does, and then the price moves higher. Now, as for my personal holdings, you guys already know I have about 40 shares of Zim Stock. Like with all my holdings, for stocks that are priced around this range, around the 10 to 15-ish dollar range, I intend to own 100 shares of each. So at some point I will own 100 shares of Zim, but as of right now, I only own currently 40 shares, which if I estimate it based on the most recent payout, would be 40 shares times 640. There's, of course, international tax, which sucks, but, I have to pay the taxes. I don't really have a choice there unless I want the IRS coming after me, which I definitely do not. After taxes, I'd get about $192 a quarter or $64 a month. I mean, I could do something definitely with $64 a month of extra income. Do I think it's worth it to buy into this position for the dividend? Yes, I do. There's a few reasons for that. Number one, as I said before, ocean carriers, they ship crates of goods from one country to another. If we didn't get food or water from another country, we would die, right? If we didn't get telecommunications devices like cell phones and computers and stuff like that from another country, we would not be able to communicate with our friends and loved ones, and social media wouldn't be possible. There's a lot of things that depend on shipping freight companies like this one. The second reason is they pay based on profit, and shipping on the oceans is an essential business. Most likely, entire countries would collapse if ocean companies stopped shipping across the seas and across the oceans. And number three, this company in general has a lot of potential upside when compared to the competition. My game plan going forward is basically once the earnings call comes out, which is, hold on, let me scroll back to the 4 hour here. So once the earnings call comes out on the 16th, and I know what the numbers are for this, if it has a miss or it comes out a miss on earnings but a beat on revenue, then I'm expecting the shares to sell and I'm simply going to hold them. But if it has a beat on both fronts, I'm simply going to hold my shares through the ex-dividend date, receive the dividend, and then I'll decide to do what I want to with the shares from that point going forward. But that's kind of overall my game plan. I'd like to get up to 50 shares before the X date because I don't know what the earnings call is going to look like or the earnings results. We'll just have to wait and see. A lot of times the earnings could come out really bullish, but then the CEO comes out and gives some really negative forward guidance, and that causes the stock to tank. Like with Apple, for example, that recently happened with Apple. They had great earnings, but well, I guess they were okay earnings, but the forward guidance on the call was a little negative, and as a result, it tanked. So that could always happen too. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down below. Are you invested in Zim? If you guys have any ideas as to what you would like me to go over, if there's a certain dividend stock or whatever the case you'd like me to do an analysis on, let me know. I'll see what I can do about getting that done. And I hope you all have a great weekend, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.